Can science explain everything? Of course, the answer is no. But what are the questions that science cannot explain? And why can science not explain those things? These are very important topics that we'll be discussing as we go through the book by Dr. John Lennox called Can Science Explain Everything? I'm inviting middle school and high schoolers and their parents to join me over Zoom as we discuss the chapters from this book. Feel free to order yours and let me know when you have your copy. And let's go ahead and start right from the beginning. There are 10 chapters in the book. Professor John Lennox was a mathematician at Oxford University. Is a professor emeritus. He's a Christian apologist. He was a chaplain for one of the colleges at Oxford. I had the opportunity of meeting with him in 2000, or I met him in 2010, met with him in his office in 2020, and then met with him again in 2024. And he has just been a huge encouragement in thinking through science and philosophy and faith. The beginning. Cosmic Chemistry, which, by the way, is the name of his other book. Dr. Lennox has written like 30 books or so, but one of them is called Cosmic Chemistry, and he's trying to talk about what is the relationship between science and faith. What kind of relationship do they have? Let me give you a practical example. And then I have a longer talk on this, actually called Can Science Explain Everything, which you can find on YouTube. I gave it at the Midwest Creation Fellowship in Chicago. So, when you think about questions like origin, questions like meaning and morality and destiny, and you really think hard about the nature of science and then the nature of those questions, you begin to notice that the science just does not deal with those types of issues. And so, for example, if we know that there was nothing and now there's something, nothing generally doesn't make something. It just doesn't. Okay, so how do you explain the origin of the universe? However you want to talk about the universe beginning, how do you explain the origin of the universe, right? And so the questions of origin get a little tricky. And that's where science begins to go outside of its realm there a little bit. Now, I know we can get into some serious debates about the Big Bang and about on oscillating universe theory or multiverse theory. And we can do that. We could probably have a physics breakout and just have debates about that. Cordial debates, please. No, don't be angry and, ranting. That's what happens on the internet. I wish we would have more face-to-face good dialogues. But anyways, back to what I was saying. So we can talk about those questions there, and we'll come back to the origin question. But questions of meaning and morality and destiny, we can all agree that science cannot tell you what you should do with your life. So where do you find those answers? Science cannot tell you those answers, not because it hasn't had time yet, but because it's incapable. So science cannot explain everything. I look forward to going through this topic and this series with you in discussing the different aspects of the limits of science. We can appreciate what science can help us with, but science has limits. And therefore, if we understand what those limits are, we can then begin to ask questions of where do we go to find answers to how should I live? How now should I live? The Bible gives us those answers. Ephesians chapter 5 verse 16 says, see that you think circumspectly. Like, think about how you're living, because the days are evil and there's a lot of distractions in the world and apathy is real. And there's all these challenges that we'll face while we live here on earth. But the Bible is our guide, and we have the rules. One of the acronyms someone used to describe the Bible is basic instructions before leaving earth. Basic instructions before leaving earth. In 2025, let's read the Bible more than we've ever read it. Let's listen to the Bible more than we've ever listened to it. Because in the explosion of discovery and technology, you're going to find that an emptiness will remain if you don't figure out why you exist. Science cannot tell you that. So you need to find that answer somewhere else. We're going to dissect more questions, but that's the beginning of this tension of science and faith, is recognizing the limits of science. Science cannot tell you how to live. Science cannot tell you what is right and what is wrong. Science cannot tell you what happens after you die. Science cannot. But could it be interesting that the same place you find the answers to those three questions, if it gives you an explanation for the first question, which is the origin question, maybe you should take it seriously if it is right on the other three of meaning, morality, and destiny. Stay tuned for more. Have a blessed day.